Good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear friends, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for joining in. My name is Ricardo Flores. I'm part of the staff of Economia Francesco Foundation. And today we are starting our Ask for Peace campaign in this Advent time. So thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much to Henrique, who is behind the cameras and is helping us a lot with this broadcast. And thank you very much to those who will participate today. So with that, dear friends, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope your December has started well and that the time of Advent has brought and brings happiness and peace to all of you. Today, we continue with our Ask for Peace campaign from Economy of Francesco. Given the context and conjuncture, we need and we have this moral obligation of demanding for peace, of working for peace. These Advent events will take a regional approach. Today, we will start in Middle East, in Lebanon, to be precise, with our friends Samir and Perla. Economy of Francesco is a global community of young members that are working towards the improvement of the condition, putting the human at the center of the conversation and the efforts that are being made. Today, we have three wonderful members of our community. We have Luca Locavone, Perla Tanús, and Samir Sfeir. Three great professionals, three great friends, but most importantly, three great persons. This year has been quite chaotic, and many times it might feel like there is no end to so much suffering and so much going on. It only takes a couple of minutes on social media to feel desperate with so much. Many times, this can make us feel alone, or it might lead us to think or to believe that going against these realities is not possible or is not worth it. With our community, we say, you are not alone. We say, we are not alone. Many of us are contributing. Many of us are working, proposing, researching, and asking for peace. Pope Francis told us during the launch of the Economy of Francesco Foundation on last September, don't be administrators of fears, be entrepreneurs of dreams. So let's dream of a fair future, of a peaceful one. He also remarked, have courage, dear friends, have courage. If you are faithful to your vocation, your life will blossom. You will have wonderful stories to tell your children and your grandchildren. It is worth it. It is worth spending your life to change the world better. Today, we will hear from Luca Locavone an update and some considerations regarding the Steps for Peace campaign, a campaign in which members of our community and participants from different spaces came together and organized different marches around the world. This was inspired on the journey of Saint Francis to meet the Sultan of Egypt. We aimed to 8 million steps and we reached 14 million steps. This is just another show of the compromise of our community towards the processes of peace. We will also hear from Perla about peace in these challenging times. And then we will hear from Samir about what we can do to contribute to peace and the presentation of the Emergency Meals Support Program. Today, we start with a series of conferences around the world. Today, we start in Middle East. This Friday, we go to Latin America. Join us next Friday at 3 p.m. CET. And with that, we can start with a video of Luca and his considerations regarding steps for peace. With that, we start our events, we start this effort. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for sharing with us. And yeah, here we go.
Ricardo, I think we need to you need to share with audio where we cannot hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try to share your audio, please.
Let's try it out.
Of steps, inspiring
Yeah, that was
meetings,
working.
moments
Great.
of reflection. Today, I'd like to share some updates, raise a few questions we are asking ourselves, and imagine the next steps we can take together. September 25 was a very special day for all of us. We had the honor of meeting Pope Francis and briefly sharing with him the goals and visions of Steps for Peace. During this meeting, we tied the first note on our rope, a powerful symbol of our commitment to building an economy of peace together. This note is more than just a gesture. It is the first step on a rope that represents a bigger vision, an economy that puts people, justice, respect for nature, and peace its center. As many of you know, Steps for Peace is much more than just a symbol. It is a real journey that has allowed us to meet people, communities, and stories from around the world. Together, we have collected an incredible 40 million steps, a testament to everyone's desire to be part of this project for peace. However, the journey to the Holy Land, which we planned as a crucial part of the initiative, had to be postponed. While this was a challenge, it gave us the opportunity to build on our relationships with communities in Israel and Palestine. We have started meaningful conversations with organizations and people who live and work daily in this complex context. We were also grateful to meet the Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, who shared his thoughts on what it means the peace in a land marked by deep tensions and divisions. The rope we carry is more than just a symbol of our journey. It's a message of commitment and hope. We plan to tie 3 knots on this rope, each representing one of solidarity with poor, because a just economy must include and uplift those on the margins. Respect for creation to care for our common home and address the environmental roots of conflict. Commitment to the common good, to ensure that what is truly good for people and communities guides our actions. Now, we'd like to share a crucial question we are asking ourselves about for peace. We originally dreamed of tying the next 2 notes with young people from Palestine and Israel. This choice comes with important meaning. Carrying the same rope to both sides could frame the situations and as a conflict between 2 enemies' sides, placing them on the same level. But is this really the case? We know the context is deeply complex. We don't want a gesture of peace to unintentionally communicate a distorted view of the reality on the ground. That's why we are asking you, our community, how do you think we should proceed? Who should we tie these notes with? And how can we ensure our actions respect the truth? Another question we are reflecting on is our initial inspiration. St. Francis of Assisi's journey to the Sultan of Egypt has been our guide. 8 million steps separate Assisi from Jerusalem, and this distance becomes a symbol of our collective commitment. But today we ask, is this still the best story to guide us? St. Francis went to the Sultan to engage in dialogue during a time of war and misunderstanding. Today, what journey can inspire us? Could it still be the story of St. Francis, Or are there other narratives that speak more directly and to the challenges of our time? We also have an idea we'd like to share with you. The rope we brought to Pope Francis could become a symbol that travels the world. It could be passed from one community to another, carried by everyone organizing Steps for Peace walks in their own areas. This would connect all of our efforts into one global journey for peace. Finally, we'd like to remind you that our fundraising campaign is still open. Funds we collect will go to support the activities of the Children's Hospital in Bethlehem, which provides critical care to children and families in challenging conditions. Every donation is a concrete step toward peace. Share your thoughts with us, send us your ideas, and help us imagine the next part of this journey. Every step is important, every voice counts. Steps for Peace is a shared path, and together we can build something even better. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. We can't wait to hear your suggestions and continue working together toward peace.
Thank you very much, Luca, for your considerations. Also for all the support and the coordinations towards this wonderful campaign. With Luca's considerations, we can take the invitation, the invite to dialogue. Please share with us, please engage in dialogue with us. The Economy of Francesco Foundation and the Economy of Francesco community is a space of work. It's a platform to contribute. With that said, I would like to welcome Perla Tanús, a wonderful member of our community, someone who has always been open when I have reached out to ask for help. And yeah, thank you very much for being here, Perla.
Thank you, Ricardo, for hosting me in this wonderful event. And especially during this time of the year, Christmas time. So I will begin now. Peace on earth is a phrase you see everywhere around Christmas time. For many of us, we have to wonder where that peace is, whether we are trying to find peace in the chaos of our own lives or trying to wrap our heads around hope for political peace. Peace on earth certainly seems elusive. So to start my speech about Christmas, I know that the world and everywhere we are struggling to find peace. And every country has its own chaos or finding for peace. So this is a quick glance around, will remind us that we live in a far from perfect world. So yes, this is why I chose to talk about peace during Christmas time. In our own lives, we struggle to find peace with ourselves. We regret past mistakes, struggle with our present weaknesses, and worry about future. We try to find ourselves in different ways and search for our purpose in life through relationships, work, leisure, and travel pursuits. We seek and long for peace in our relationships with others. Some search for the perfect person to date. In our present relationships, sometimes we avoid conflict and run the other way in fear of doing something we will regret. Other times we take for granted those closest to us and experience the not so nice daily realities living in close proximity with them. We become frustrated and angry over the mistake of others. We struggle with the uncertainty of tomorrow and the turmoil going on in the world around us. World news brings few positive reports, if any. We wonder if peace on earth is even possibility. Optimists would say that things are better now than they were even several decades ago. But why do we still long for better world? Even when we long for it, no matter how hard we try, reality seems to get in the way and ground us quickly. Sure, we are progressing, but if we as human beings have so much potential to be good, why are we not consistently living up to it? Even with the best of intentions, our human efforts to be good and make this world a better place seems to fall short. So, where can we turn for hope of peace? Have you ever considered looking to see what Jesus Christ says as a solution for peace? He taught people to love each other as they love themselves. Not as self-serving kind of love, but a self-respect kind of love. He taught people to love their enemies. Imagine if every single person, group, culture, and country in this world learned to love each other and their enemies. There truly would be world peace. Not only did he teach people how to be at peace with each other, Jesus himself served to make peace between people and God. A peace that was broken because of our imperfection and our rebellion to go our way and live life apart from God, otherwise known as a sin. This separates us from God, who is a holy, perfect, and loving. It also prevents us from having access to the love and power from God that would enable us to truly realize and experience peace. God revealed himself to people through the person of Jesus. Jesus came to earth in a peaceful way as a baby in humble circumstances of a manger and proceeded to live a humble life. Imagine being God and putting yourself into the limitations of a human body. Jesus Christ came to restore our broken relationship with God so that we could first experience wholeness and peace with ourselves, and then extend it to others around us. Through personal relationship with Jesus, we find peace with God. He came to live life perfectly and died in our place to pay the consequences for our sin. His death made peace between our sinful nature and God's holy nature. His coming back to life gives us hope of living in peace with God. We find wholeness and peace with ourselves. Our esteem is based on what God thinks of us, something that never changes, instead of on the foundation of others' opinions, fleeting accomplishments, or changing circumstances. Our identity is based on who God has made us to be, not on the things that we do. We can bring healing and wholeness to others around us, in the communities, the cities, and the world we live in. We begin to see hope for change in others and the world around us. Coming into a relationship with Jesus by faith and following him does not mean a life free of conflict, but he offers a promise of hope, of something better to come, and the power to bring some of that better world here and now. He offers a strength to perceive until that time a new word comes. Take a look to your life. How would you describe it? Rushed, excited, stressful, moving forward, holding back. For many of us, it's all the above at times. There are things we dream of doing one day, and there are things we wish we could forget. In the Bible, it says that Jesus came to make all things new. What would your life look like if you could start over with a clean slate? I will finish my speech by a small prayer. Lord Jesus, I need you. Thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. I open the door of my life and receive you as a Savior and Lord. Thank you for forgiving my sins and giving me eternal life. Take control of the throne of my life. Made me kind of person you want me to be. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Perla. That was a very important and beautiful intervention. I take the word of love as the tool or the path for peace, and that reminds me, or that brings me to some of the considerations that to the actual system that is presented by the church. And it says that every person is born inside a family context. That means every person is born in a community. Without this community, this person would not be able to exist. We also need to remember that our existence is a shared existence. Only when you understand that, you realize that our identity as humans is a community identity. And with that, you start looking at others as competitors, and you see them as brothers, as sisters. And just with that, you will be able to work together to share goods for peace processes. Thank you, Perla. I'm sure that your intervention will make echo in our community, will make echo in our realities. Now, with that beautiful intervention, we move towards our other participant, Samir. He is member of the community of Economy of Francesco, and he very kindly accepted our invitation to participate in this space. Thank you very much, Samir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ricardo. Very happy to be part of activities related to the economy of Francesco. It's a very dear community to my heart. Myself and my wife had lifetime experiences with this community. So I will start first on the ground. In Lebanon, you know that now we have the war. And what's happening on the ground is big. It's not something that can be explained in a very theoretical way. We're speaking about thousands of people dying from the bombing from Israel. Now we have a ceasefire. Hopefully it will last. We have more than 15,000 injured. And when we're in that situation with the complexity of Lebanon, multiple religions, multiple political opinions, and what's happening, what can we do as Christians? We have, I believe, two major ways of dealing with what's happening. The first way is going into extremism, which is not only for other religions, but also we have extremism in Christianity. And we've seen it in part of our community, which is really unfortunate. It's against anything that the Bible makes us do, or we learn from the Bible, which is hating the other person inside our country, being happy because the ones that are not from our political opinion are actually being killed by a genocide murderers from Israel. And we see hatred being built, and this makes us sad. This makes us sort of ashamed. that part of our community is taking things like that for children, for families, for women, for elderly. And there is the second way. How do we live inside a war and scream for peace? Which is the Francis way, which is the Christ way, reflected by Francis, which you mentioned before, Ricardo, related to the story with the Sultan. So how did Francis convince the Sultan and inspired the Sultan to really aim for peace? I think there are several factors for this. First factor is the truth. Francis didn't go with lies or with sugarcoating on what's happening, and didn't say that everyone loved the Sultan and it's fake, or everyone has similar mistakes. He didn't do that. He went with the truth. He said, we did this, you did this, and let's try to go to peace. So now in Lebanon, for example, we cannot say it's a two-sided crimes happening. No, it's a one-sided crime where Israel is creating a genocide in Lebanon. Even the international courts admitted this. So we need to start with the truth. This is the truth. And second, what do we do with this truth? Do we go to hatred or do we go to love? So if we decide to go to love, I believe that love is not a statement. It's not a description. It's an action. So it's an action that we need to do. This is love. And so two main questions. How do we do this action? And who should work for peace? Who should work for love? And what we are doing is just a small piece of the puzzle and small brick in building peace. So I'm going to share our experience and what we are doing. So I'm one of the co-founders of an NGO called 𝐏𝐞𝐚𝐜, which is Participate in Arabic. And we launched a central kitchen where we do meals and we vacuum them that are distributed for vulnerable communities. And now with the war, we focused on displaced people. And what's beautiful about it is that the persons with disabilities with persons without disabilities are cooking together, preparing food, and distributing food to the displaced people. So the ones that we could see as victims are actually the leaders of peace building, which are persons with disabilities. And it's really beautiful to see. Like seeing people, I'm going to show you some pictures. People with different impairments are actually the builders of peace. They are supporting other people without disabilities. So the equation has changed upside down. So first, what we do is that these team members are actually cooking food for displaced people, the ones that lost their homes, that lost their family members, kids that are now hosted in certain centers or certain schools. Second, we adopted what we call the blanket approach. The blanket approach means that when we go to a center, we don't ask who's Christian, who's Muslim, who's Shia, who's Sunni, who's from this political party. We go into feeding whoever is in this center. We have 200 persons in the center. We feed 200 persons on lunch and dinner, regardless of their background. Because if you don't do that, let's just imagine 10 kids. You have 5 that are from a certain political or religious background and 5 from the other. And you decide, or we decide, to provide meals only for 5 of them. So the other 5 are hungry, and they see the other 5 eating day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Hate is gonna build up. Tension and conflict is gonna build up because this is injustice. So when we go into blanket approach, we provide food for everyone. Second, we support also, and I'm gonna share some pictures. We support what we call circular economy, which is we buy the raw materials from vulnerable rural farmers so that we can actually provide food for the vulnerable communities. You can see the picture now. Is it on screen? So this is, in this picture, you see this lady. This lady has a hearing impairment, and she's one of the team members working, as you can see, all the food production. On that day, we're producing around 2,000 meals for vulnerable communities. Here you can see also a team where one of them has actually an intellectual disability, and he's doing a great job in preparing food for the displaced families. And this is what we call the vacuum meals, where we do the meals last, instead of 48 hours, they last for several days. So two things that are happening now. First, people that are usually the victims are the leaders of peace. Second, we do not discriminate. Till date, we distributed around 55,000 meals, and we already have planned around 95,000 meals to go. We're speaking about around 2,000 meals per day. And this is how we see that we can create peace in an actionable way. We cannot just state facts. We cannot just stay on social media. It's good to state on social media our opinions. It's something good, but it's not enough. We need to take action on the ground. Even in other countries, you can go and protest for peace. You can go in advocacy activities. You can go in support to countries that are being affected by what's happening. And always have the truth. No need to sugarcoat so that no one gets angry. No, it's fine if when Jesus was passing his message everywhere in the world, he didn't compromise. He said, this is the truth. These are the facts. I'm gonna share the facts in a loving way, but these are the facts. We need to build a proper, sustainable, long-term peace. We need to share the truth, be faithful to the truth, and in a loving way, try to build peace in whatever we can do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samir. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for presenting what you are doing in the territory, and thank you very much for everything that you are doing to build peace, to put the human at the center, and to put the one who might be the victim to work and to replicate this message of peace and this action of peace. I would like to thank Samir. I would like to thank Perla for their participation, also Luca for his participation. And I would like to share with you, I would like to share a reading from Pope Francis from 2023. And it's something that we have, or that we took as the beginning of this initiative. It goes, "It is difficult, but I know you can do it because you are already doing it. I know that including your efforts within your churches and sharing your dreams amid the economic realities of the places where you live is not immediate. Reality seems already configured, often impenetrable, like ground on which it has not rained for too long. May you not lack the patience and resourcefulness to let yourselves be known and to establish gradually more stable and fruitful connection. The desire for a new world is more widespread than it seems. Do not close yourselves in. The oases in the desert are places to which everyone must have access, crossroads in which to pause and from which to set up again different. So remain open and seek out your colleagues, your bishops, your fellow citizens with determination and enthusiasm. And in this, I repeat, may the poor be with you. Give voice and form to a people, because the reality of the economy and the solutions you are working on and testing involve the lives of everyone. There is more space for you than it seems today. I ask you, therefore, to stay actively united, building real bridges between the continents on operational issues that will definitely bring humanity out of the era of colonialism and inequality. Give faces, content, and projects to a universal fraternity. Be pioneers of integral human development from within the economic and entrepreneurial life. With that said, I would also like to share a brief sentences from the letter that Pope Francis said when we launched the Economy of Francesco Foundation. He said, "Have courage, dear friends, have courage. If you are fruitful to your vocation, your life will blossom." Again, thank you very much, Samir. Thank you very much, Perla. Thank you very much, Luca. This Friday, we will have our next event. We are going to Latin America. Today, we started in Middle East, in Lebanon. And next time, we're going to have participants from Chile, Mexico, and Brazil. So we will see you next Friday at 3 p.m. CET. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for everything that you're doing. With that said, we would like to close this event. Thank you very much to the Economy of Francesco Foundation for being platform. And thank you very much to the community for being here with us.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful start of the week. Take care.
Bye-bye.